Good morning, everybody. I always have such a hard time knowing what to say to get started. You know, some people have fancy intros. I've got nothing. I just want to focus on the reading, I guess. I took a little bit of a break. My son, they have a school break here in Canada, northern Canada. The sun is shining here and it's melting again. So we've really had a moody but wonderful relief of a winter. Last winter, it was in the minus 40s for 4 or 5 weeks, which is really hard on everybody. So, you know, and yeah, I've got plants growing downstairs. The horses, I have horses. The horses are shedding. The cats are excited. You know, and it all kind of comes into right now that we had, last night we had a new moon in Pisces during Mercury retrograde. I don't know about you all, but I had dreams that were absolutely crazy. Of course, you know, being intuitive and, you know, all that stuff. I don't know. I have dreams that seem like they aren't dreams so much as they're memories of past lives. And yet the dream that I had last night, it was like a past life. It was like a memory. And yet it seemed to be in my own time. So it gives me it gives me reason to reflect if that's a memory that I've just like repressed or what that is. But that is kind of fitting with a new moon in Pisces during Mercury retrograde, because it is a time to look back and reflect and kind of remember who we were going forward, because 2019 was an end of a cycle. And a lot of people felt this. There was a lot of breakups, a lot of job transitions. You know, things in the world were kind of crazy, you know, and in tarot, the 9s, you know, we're coming up to the end. The 10s is finally the end and going on, you know, to prepare for a completely new beginning. So that being said, sometimes when you are told that things from your past are going to come forward, that has a negative connotation. But in my experience so far, and what Spirit tells me, is that that's not the case. That is to remember childhood memories. You know, memories of family trips. Memories of who we hoped we would be. You know, when we're young teenagers and we're starting to think about our futures. You know, to remember who we wanted to be, the things that we enjoyed doing that maybe we let fall by the wayside. You know, so this is the time, you know, Mercury retrograde is forcing us to remember a lot of these things. But I know in my own life, I have friends and family that are going through breakups and, you know, some hard things from you know, from last year. But within that, they're starting to remember who they loved. You know, they're starting to remember that, oh, they loved horseback riding. Why did they give that up? Oh, because, right? Or, you know, oh, gosh, we love to go skiing. Why did I give that up? Like, I used to love to do this. Why did I give that up when it brought me so much joy? Right? And to say, you know what, some of those things you could say to yourself, well, maybe I'm too old now. But that's baloney. I mean, we see now on YouTube and different things, people that are in their hundreds and they're bodybuilders and whatnot. It just means that you need to start that process slowly. And if you think about it, you know, when we were children, we started off walking and it wasn't easy, but we didn't just give up, right? We didn't just say, oh, we're too old. And, you know, I'm a healer. You know, I heal physical bodies, often, you know, dealing with spiritual problems, but I deal physical bodies. And, you know, if you get your body in alignment, if you get your mind in alignment, we can live into our very elderly years healthy and happy. But that's part of where tarot comes in too. You know, like, if you need real counseling, don't listen to me. Don't listen to any YouTuber. You know, don't go to psychics. Don't, you know, find real counseling if that's what you need. But sometimes you just need somebody to say, to give you a guide. You know, and if it resonates with you, if what I'm doing resonates with you, then keep watching. I have a baby channel. Keep watching. If it resonates with you, tell your friends. Like it, please. And subscribe. But if it resonates with you, and you find comfort and guidance in that, then that's really wonderful. I just really, you know, oh, and I was going to say too, that there's a really interesting website, and it's called foreverconscious.com. And they've got a really good write-up right now on the new moon in Pisces. So check that out. Anyway, Spirit said to me to dig out the Romance Angels card to get kind of a general feeling for Virgo Libra, the cusp of beauty. I'm not an astrologer, but I do know. Cusps are so interesting, right? Because we have these two energies, right? So we're dynamic, we're complex. We might be a bit of a handful, right? I mean, we're used to being us, but even I'm a cusp myself. I'm an Aries Taurus cusp, and it can be challenging in a world of people that just have this kind of one energy, and we've got these two things, you know, bombarding us all the time. But I think it makes us amazing. And if you go through and look at people, you know, other people who've been born on your cusps, cuspers are really amazing people. So, what have we got for Virgo Libra? Trust. This is a situation calling for you to have faith. Well, this is a much better view, by the way. The sun's not bothering stuff so much. Okay, let's get one more. One more card. One more. We need to just... I like to have kind of just a guide for Virgo Libra. Virgo Libra. And today feels very spring-like. Well, these cards are kind of like your sign. They're kind of going all over the place. Oh! Oh! Interesting. Okay. And it is safe for you to love. Now look at the angels there. Can you see? Okay, so this is right away. This spoke to me as it's nice. It's nice that it's safe for you to love. It says, "Open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all." But it also shows this woman, and she's outside of her fortress. So this is speaking to me of people who've built walls and towers. Okay? Her eyes are closed. I don't know if you can see that. It's giving the energy to me of somebody who is closing her eyes and just saying, let's go for it. Interestingly, there's a knight there. Let's see if he shows up. Let's see if he's the reason for her to leave her fortress. Because that's a sturdy fortress there. Now, I have these Greenwich Tarot cards. I'm just trying to feel. They have such a feeling of spring for me. And yet this is really giving an energy of not. So I think I'm going to go with the regular Rider-Waite cards. Now I grabbed the deck upside down, which is interesting. I don't usually read reversals. Okay, Virgo Libra, cusp of beauty. Bold, dynamic, but also empathetic and open-hearted. I mean, what a great combination. What a great combination. Okay, Spirit. What's that one? Okay, Spirit. Let's have a great message. What's the message? What's been going on for Virgo Libra cuspers? Okay. You've been working really hard. Okay. Public recognition. This is also the card of the craftsperson, which would go with your cusp. Artisan. Because, you know, bold, dynamic, creative, empathetic, like, you know, able to, I mean, artists, I'm an artist myself. Artists communicate for others, whether it's through music, painting, drama, whatever. Okay, so we're looking at the energy of Virgo Libras coming into 2020, coming up to this point. What's been going on for the Virgo Libras up to this point? Yeah, and this was at the bottom of the deck, actually, when I was reading. Seven of Pentacles. Again, hardworking. You know, he's looking sad. I mean, it's so interesting. You do these cards 1,000 times, and for every reading, you see something a little different that's applicable. He's working hard. And he doesn't look sad, but he's looking thoughtful. Okay? So what's been going on for Virgo Libras leading up to this point? What's been going on for Virgo Libras leading up to 2020? I don't know if I took that one. Oh, that's interesting. I'm not going to take that one and see if it comes back. What's been going on for Virgo Libras in 2019? Virgo Libras, come on. Oh. Tower. So, you know what? This is almost what I'm talking about. I mean, is that? I mean, in these cards, it's so dramatic. It always, but you know, I'm kind of like, towers are good. This is part of looking back. You know, the Mercury retrograde, bringing back things from our childhood. It'd be interesting to see if the Six of Cups comes up. Because the Tower doesn't need to be a bad thing. The Tower implies that there's a weak foundation. That maybe you've gone ahead in your life, and one thing's, there's the bottom of the deck, and one thing's led to another, and you end up in this place where you've been working hard, but you're not sure if that's, like, all of a sudden you're like, what am I doing? Right? This isn't bringing me fulfillment. Virgo Libra, Virgo Libra, Virgo Libra leading up to 2019. I don't know if I'll take that. What's the energy of Virgo Libra leading up to 2019? Okay, so he wanted to come up before. So I was suspecting there's a Knight energy coming, because we had the Knight in the safe for you to come. So let's get some clarification on that Knight. Can we get some clarification from 29, like leading up to this? What's going on for Virgo Libra? Okay, we have a huge amount of pentacle energy here. And this is like, you know, woohoo. This is financial abundance. Okay. Like I said, you never know. There's the walls, the tower, whatever. So we've been at, like, you know, and this is our, what's my guide for the reading. So she's left the towers and the walls, okay? So then we're asking, you know, and then to have trust. You got to have a lot of trust to leave your walls. Any one of us that have had walls gets that. So, okay, so Spirit's just saying that there was a tower. Oh, and there's a tower. So we have a lot of things going on. There's towers in here, okay? I'm just going to leave this here because I seem to be referring to that a lot. The towers crashed. In rides the King of Pentacles, or the Knight of Pentacles to save the day. There's that knight in this card. And there's 10 of Pentacles. But do you see the wall is open? Okay. People are both coming and going through the wall. There's 2 dogs there. It just spoke to me very quickly of the moon card, although it's 2 white dogs. Interesting. So, I mean, you've had a busy time coming up. And my hand just fell asleep. For some reason, it does that during readings. Okay, so what's going on for the Virgo Libras right now? So this is kind of like an overview. What's going on for the Virgo Libras right now? This one. Oh. Okay. I'm just going to kind of keep going. You know, my hand has completely fallen asleep. That is a really irritating, you know, a lot of readers have a side effect. You know, some have their eyes twitch and some, their nose is itchy. One that I really love, her nose is always itchy. Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to take that one, but yeah, sure enough, these 2 just slid out. Sure enough. The 6 of Cups. Now check that out, because that's like we were talking about before. This can talk about soulmate, but this can also talk about memories of the past. Going back, Spirit just reminded me, childhood friends who've maybe reunited to become lovers. Or memories of your childhood. Because we got this. And he too was also trying to pop out, and I kept putting him back in, and I said, I'm not ready. But, you know, when they come out for the 3rd time, hello. He sees that the whole world's there. This guy is looking over the castle wall. Okay? He's got the whole world. Oh, Spirit, he's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole wide world in his hands. Okay? Okay, and Spirit just said to reverse them, to change the order. So what's going on is you're looking to other shores, dreaming of other things. A childhood connection a soulmate. Could be a twin flame. I'm not sure what to think about twin flames. At first I looked at that and thought, oh, that's inside a fortress. And then Spirit said, no, it's in the village. So this is like a Saturday afternoon. You know, those are lilies. You know, those are flowers of resurrection. Of a resurgence. Of a resurrection. Of taking something you thought was dead and bringing it back to life. Okay? For the lovers. Ace of Wands on the bottom of the deck. Let's see if she comes out again. You know, it's kind of interesting because you do get a feel for what kind of cards, what cards are going to come out. Okay, what's going on? What else? Can you give us a couple more? Oops, of what's going on for Virgo Libra? There we go. And he came out again. So, Knight of Swords. Rushing in. All of a sudden, you've been plugging along, singing a song. You're bold and dynamic by nature, but you're so considerate. Like you don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. That's my cat, Axel. He likes it. He has a lot of conversation. You don't want to hurt anybody's feeling. You don't like to cause a fuss, but and in doing that, you know, you kind of build yourself a bunch of walls. Right? And there's like a couple rows of walls and there's towers. You know, you think of Rapunzel like locked in the tower, whatever. And your natural instinct, your childhood instinct growing up was to be wild and free, to dream big. And life came along and it wasn't that. You know, you just started plugging along. You started playing by the rules, but increasingly feeling suffocated. You know, until 2019 came along. It's coming to the end of that cycle, where all of a sudden, oh, I'm getting tight in my chest. Where all of a sudden, you had a family reunion, you had a funeral, you had something. And it took you by surprise. It took you by surprise, and we had a tower. And you know, the walls came down. The walls came down. The walls came crashing down all of a sudden. Now there came an offer of something better. And the idea of, what if I opened the door? All of a sudden, you could see a different life. And thought, I wonder if it's safe for me to love. I wonder if it's safe for me to go outside. Like, because I'm going to trust. Whoever these nights, it's 2 night energies, okay? These aren't, Spirit just says these aren't necessarily different people, okay? Sometimes it's like, oh, this or this. This is the spirit of, let me bring you abundance. I'm going to hold back here and wait and see what you're going to do, right? Like, see how they're different. This guy is very sedate. I'm looking. I'm watching. I'm waiting to see if she'll open the gate. You know, if she'll put the drawbridge down. Yeah, I'm going to put the drawbridge down. I remember who I was. I want love. Or I want to pursue my passions. Right? However it resonates for you. All of a sudden, rushing in. Okay, let's go. Because sometimes you sit stagnant for a long time. But Virgo Libra, you are bold and dynamic, and you, by persona, you are a Knight of Swords. And while you're being considerate, suddenly the need to be who you are and who you're meant to be is overwhelming. Because you're creative. The Ace of Wands. New beginnings, that branch. It's spring. You know, like, it's such a spring energy. Let's start fresh. Let's be creative with our life. This is the universe. Look at that hand. That's not a human hand. Okay? Nice. Okay, we're at 25 minutes. I hate to have these. Ooh, Wheel of Fortune on the bottom of the card. Okay. Oh, I wasn't going to take it, but Spirit just said, yeah, because the seasons changed. Just like how I said it's like spring here. You know, and in Canada, where I am in Canada, it's early for spring. Super early. But there's a certain feeling. It's this Knight of Swords kind of feeling. It's like all of a sudden the sun is shining. You can see things melting. You can see the things under the ground. You look at your garden. The horses are shedding, and they feel it too. The horses were excited. It's time. Okay? See, now my right hand's falling asleep. So in my head, it was like, I was just thinking, what's ahead for 2020? And out popped. I mean, they just slid off here. What's ahead for you for 2020? The Star. Wish is coming true. And the Ten of Cups. Which is everything. See, Axel agrees. I have two cats. One's Axel Rosie, pretty as a posy K, and the other's Courtney Love. My son loves to play rock and roll. Maybe they'll show up sometimes. Meow. But that's pretty good. We're gonna end there. Oh, you know what? I just opened it up and there's the moon. Oh, okay. Okay, so the moon it's not all as it seems. I wondered if about the moon, just because there's two dogs here, and it spoke to me of the moon. This can be not everything's as it seems. You don't see everything. So this wasn't like where we're at. Spirit just said to me, this is an overall energy. It's new moon today. This can be kind of a daunting one. This can be, there's more to this situation than meets the eye. But this card, Spirit is saying to me, tell them there's more than what they see. Dare to imagine more. Quit looking at the reflection of the moon in the pond and look up in the sky and see that the moon shows you the whole world. Happy new moon. That energy resonates today. Don't be scared of Mercury retrograde. Embrace it. Embrace the lessons of it. Sometimes, you might be crying. I had a good cry yesterday just thinking about things in my own life that I'd kind of forgotten the energy of. I'll tell you what, with my horses, just quick, with my horses, when I was a kid, everything in my life was about horses. I wasn't always a happy kid. I mean, I wasn't in an abusive family or anything, but, I didn't fit. I had a lot of anxiety. I just didn't fit. I didn't fit with my family. I didn't fit with my friends. I think now, looking back, a lot of that is being a cusper. A lot of that is being born an intuitive. My mother is also an intuitive, but, they were trained to suppress that, right? And I think a lot of her bringing me up was the continuation of hide that, suppress that, you know, put walls around my girl because this is not good, you know, whereas now it's like, wow, that's a real blessing. But no, I spent all my time on my horses. My horses were everything. And riding, you know, to gallop, to be running. And I remember with my arms up in the air, just complete and total freedom, wind in your hair. But, you know, I left home, you know, and started working in the city. And then ended up, as many intuitives do, in really suffocating, soul-crushing relationships. And years passed, and I never thought of the horses. And then I had a child born special needs, not serious, but, you know, with cerebral palsy and a single parent, and then I had a dream, and my horses came to me in my dream. It's like, why did you forget about us? And I still remember now. It makes me kind of emotional. And you know, even though I was really broke, I didn't have much support. Anybody that should have been helping me just made things worse. Somehow the Creator allowed me to get a horse and to have a place for the horse. And now we have 3 horses out there. To, you know what, and I've still been afraid. Like I keep track of them. You know, they're part of our life. I haven't finished training the one because something's been holding me back. I think it's fear. I think it's fear that I'm not good enough. That's Axel Rosie singing in the background, by the way. But yesterday we were out there and things were different and everything was seeming to click. And I think 2020 will be the year that I will meet this goal of mine. And I encourage the same for you. This seems like it's a love situation that you have been plugging along, singing a song. You know, you're a craftsman or an artist or an engineer or, you know, something creative. And you've been working hard and you've been successful and that's been working. And you get used to building those walls. You know, you've built your own walls. You built them yourself. But something's missing. There's a few things missing. This is 7. There's a few things missing. Spirit just said there's 3 things missing. Love. Self-esteem. Self-esteem, love, and fulfillment. But your walls that you built are coming crashing down, but in a good way, okay? Don't be scared of those walls coming down. You built them yourself. They were never the Creator's intention for you. Whenever that happens, you're going to have to make choices sometimes that will hurt other people. And don't go to your way to hurt other people, but ultimately, you know, we each have, Axel, you know, eventually, like we all have, he wants me to finish up, but we all have our life's mission. You have wishes. You have dreams. This star says, yep, it's time. There's a 10. You don't just need to wish about this 10 to open up that gate. You open up that gate with a dream of a 10. And here's your 10 of Cups. 10 of Cups is even better 10 of Pentacles, in my opinion, because it's everything. Self-esteem, love, fulfillment. Don't just look at what you got. Look up. In Canada, we had this show called The Friendly Giant, and he's like, look up, look way up. All right, every blessing. Happy Mercury retrograde.